St. Martin. Yeah.
My people of St. Martin, I'm Rolando Bryson, the number 5 candidate on the United People's Party. As many of you know, I've been the only voice over the last 4 years that has championed your rights to be included in one of the most vital things in any society, which is the banking system. Over those 4 years, I was able to keep the banks in check, make sure that they wouldn't introduce new fees, that they would start to treat you better, bring legislation to make sure that everybody has a right to a bank account. But what have we seen in the last 6 months since I've left Parliament? We've seen almost a week after the election, new fees are introduced. We see our seniors being treated worse and worse by our banks. And the situation is not going to get better unless the voice that has been there to enforce what government is supposed to do to treat you as a citizen with respect and demand that of the banks, without that voice, my people, we're only going to get worse and worse when it comes to banking in our country. In my time in Parliament, and even if I was the lone voice,
who we voting for? We voting Lyndon Lewis, number 3 on our list. We voting Lyndon Lewis. Who we voting for? We voting Lyndon Lewis, number 3 on our list. We voting Lyndon Lewis. Equality, number 3. Integrity, number 3. Transparency, number 3. Reuniting families. Honorable, number 3. Dependable, number 3. Responsible, number 3. Working for all of we.
My name is Dr. Agnes Gracita R. Arundel, number 6 candidate on the URSM slate. My main objective as a Deputy Minister Plenipotentiary in The Hague are to secure housing options for students in the Netherlands, introduce voting rights for students and St. Martiners living in the Netherlands, and to continue to pursue funding opportunities for St. Martin in Europe. My slogan is competent, caring, and compassionate. Your number 6 candidate on the URSM slate, Gracita R. Arundel. Elect us on August the 19th and make St. Martin beautiful again.
St. Martin, it's time for you to go out and vote. When you go into that voting booth, remember who has you in the dark. Remember who has you with those exorbitant GB bills and that fuel clause that we say has to go. Remember who has been failing you for all these decades. When you go out and vote, we urge you to vote. Vote for the Now Party. Vote for your candidate number 4. Yours truly, Keith Peter J. Gittins.
Tell them for Peter J. we vote. When we touch road. Tell them for Peter J. we vote. When we touch road. CN bus strike.
Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, kids, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? The countdown is on, and the question is, are you voting? And before you answer, understand that if you do not go out and vote, you can't bitch about the results afterwards. Because I'm telling you from now, I'm not having no discussion with anybody when they say, you see who get elected? It's a good thing I didn't vote. I'll be like, pause. That's it. Conversation is over. Do not talk to me. You're the problem. You're the reason why we're here. You're the reason why we continue to have these people inside of the government. Don't tell me nothing else. Now, security measures is going to be very strict. They're going to be police officers and Marines and all kind of different justice workers at every polling station. They're going to be at the different locations, at the roundabouts. So it's going to be a little bit more stringent this time around because, you know, the way that the Prime Minister believes that, you know, something big is going to happen is real, I guess, because the officers are here, the extra help is here. Feel like we're in a police state, but whatever, what do I know? Because for the life of me, you know how scared everybody does be at night when you see all them soldiers and the police officers. You see your police officers in front, and then you see two big vans or two big military trucks behind them driving through with the flashing. And I was walking 2 nights ago, and when I was walking, I was like, you know, just normal, minding my business. And then the police let's slow down, and they're watching you like, how dare you walk? Of course, I flip a bird because I was like, partner, hey, listen, this ain't no special power time, you know. I got rights here, no, right here. However, let me break down this enhancement of powers because it has been extended until Tuesday coming, and you need to get ready for what this actually means. During these controls, special controls by the police and the military, they are looking for guns. That's the primary objective. Of course, then they're going to make sure they check other things to make sure that everything is in order for the vehicle or the motorbike or whatever it is you're driving. Now, this enhancement of powers means that nobody is exempt. Let me say it for those in the back, and maybe you can echo it for me. Nobody is exempt. Because the law is very clear, you cannot discriminate. That means, you know, when you know the police officer that, you know, you have a little something with, or you work in the police, or you work in the customs, or you work in one of the, you know, justice, or, you know, you're a politician, and you know, everybody know you, or you're on TV, or you just like, you know, you always cool with every police officer, so you're just there driving, minding your business, you never get in problem with the law, you're gonna get stopped. No matter who you are. So anybody out there who think that they're exempt, or police officers going to be like, oh, no, give them a chance. If they do that, they're breaking the law. Because the law says you cannot discriminate during these special searches. So everybody has to get stopped, everybody has to get searched, everybody has to be treated the same way. Also, the special powers allows the police to be, I could say it, they can be assholes. They literally can be assholes. Because the moment you take out your phone, you're obstructing, they can take it, and then they could search, they could delete whatever they want to delete quick, give it back to you, or tell you can't tape right now. They could be extra hostile. Your rights have been temporarily suspended during certain zones that is specifically mentioned in the press releases. So you got your Simpson Bay, your Cole Bay, you got your Dutch Quarter, you got your Kipokoi, different locations, Maho, everywhere that the controls are at, the special controls, your rights do not exist. So all you could do is cooperate or get arrested. They can search for no reason. They can search you, whatever you have on you, for no reason. They don't have to ask you permission. They just stop the car and start. Get out of the car, please. This is a search. Aha. The moment you open your mouth too hard, you're under arrest. That's the special powers that they have. Nobody going to tell you because they want to, you know, catch you off guard and think you got rights. And I got rights. That's why the prosecutor office comes out with the nice long press release giving you the time and the place so you don't tell them nothing when they catch you. It's not their fault that you didn't pay attention to different medias out there with the correct information. That's why they have to send it out, because they have to let you know. Because some people like, it's so stupid. The criminal's going to know where they are. Okay. Otherwise, Sarah, what's the problem? We got nothing to hide, right? So why are you worried about getting stopped and getting searched? I can't hear you. Because we shouldn't have no problem, right? Unless you're going out there to do something bad. So if you have something that is protecting yourself, you best not walk with it because you go get arrested. These searches are completely unconstitutional. These searches are trampling on the rights of a human being in St. Martin. But are they legal? Yeah, unfortunately. It's a special order that can be granted only by the prosecutor office of St. Martin, and that's why they gave these special powers to the police. Now, other places or other things outside of the zones that are not mentioned, you have your rights. Stop the car. They need a reason to go inside. They need a reason for stopping you. If it's controls, make sure you get your papers. You give the papers, bam, 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 you go on your way, you got no problems. However, it's a different type of search when it comes to this particular special powers situation. So I hope that is very clear. Now, today they had a press conference of the Voting Bureau talking about the elections for Monday. What to expect? Let's go to it.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Central Voting Bureau, thank you for joining us today, and a pleasant good afternoon to all gathered here in the Legislative Hall at the House of Parliament and those joining us virtually through various platforms. As we approach the final days before the parliamentary election on Monday, August 19th, I want to take this opportunity to share some important updates and reminders with the public. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of all those involved in preparing for this election. Today, I have here with me representatives from the Civil Registry, GEBE, and KPSM. The efforts put in by all those here today often go unseen, but play a fundamental role in ensuring that everything runs smoothly. From the polling station members to the teams working behind the scenes, your commitment to upholding the democratic process is truly commendable, and I want to thank each of you for your efforts. I want to reiterate once again that the Central Voting Bureau remains committed to upholding the integrity and efficiency of these elections. We have validated the list of 9 political parties with a total of 135 candidates aspiring for a position to represent you, the people of St. Martin, in Parliament. In preparation for the upcoming elections, we've taken steps to ensure that the process is as seamless and transparent as possible. We've introduced several new measures this election cycle to improve both the voting and the vote counting processes. Firstly, we're piloting new software designed to streamline the logging of election day data, ensuring your votes are counted accurately and efficiently. In addition to this, we've increased the number of polling station members. There will be an additional 2 members joining the polling station later in the day to assist both with the flow of voters as well as the crucial counting process after 8 p.m. In addition, we've engaged a new data analyst to assist with the consolidation of the election results as they come in. Taken together, we're hopeful that these enhancements will allow us to deliver preliminary results to the public earlier than we did in the previous election. We're also aware of the challenges posed by the current power situation, and I'm happy to announce that we have successfully secured emergency generators for all polling stations that were not previously equipped. To ensure full redundancy, we'll also have emergency lights and other equipment available to sufficiently illuminate the rooms in case of darkness. These steps are part of our commitment to ensuring that the voting and counting process is not disrupted, even under challenging conditions. Mr. Washington is also here today and can address the public more specifically with what to expect from NVGBE on Monday, and I'll let him have some remarks in a bit. In addition to these efforts, our preparations for the election encompass a wide range of activities to ensure a smooth and trustworthy voting experience when the polls open. In summary, every aspect of the election, from the ballots to the polling stations and the training of staff, is being carefully managed to ensure that we are fully prepared. Our goal is to provide a seamless and transparent voting process. Our goal is to inspire confidence in our democratic system, and we are committed to ensuring that every eligible voter can cast their vote with trust in the integrity and efficiency of the electoral process. Now, I want to take a moment to address the voters directly. We understand that many of you may feel frustrated by the need to return to the polls within a 6-month time span. Trust me, as citizens and an eligible voter myself, I'm right there with you. However, this is an opportunity to make your voices heard. Your vote is your voice, and it is through this process that you can help shape the future of your community. We must also remember that the right to vote is a privilege that many before us fought for and fought hard to secure. It's a right that we should never take for granted. Every vote contributes to the direction we take as a society, and your participation is crucial in maintaining the integrity and the strength of our democratic system. So I urge each of you to channel your concerns and your frustration into action by casting your vote, by voting for the leaders that you believe in and that you think best represent you. It's important to remember that the integrity of this election relies on the participation of all eligible voters. Polling stations will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we encourage you to check your polling station location in advance to avoid any last-minute confusion on the day itself. Finally, I want to emphasize the importance of civility and respect during this final stretch of the campaign and on election day itself. This election is an opportunity for all of us to come together as a community, regardless of our differences, to shape the future of our country. Let's ensure that this process is conducted with the dignity and integrity that it deserves. I would like to now give the floor for the representatives of the Civil Registry, GBE, and KPSM to share any remarks that you may have. After their statements, we'll open the floor to questions from the media present. Thank you again for your attention, and we look forward to a successful and smooth election on Monday.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. On GB's perspective, we are doing our utmost in order to prevent load shedding on August 19th. We are testing right now an additional engine, which is engine number 8. We have been running it yesterday and today to see if the test results are where we want them to be. Once this engine shows it's positive, we would then put it onto the grid tomorrow. And once it goes onto the grid, there will be an additional 4 megawatts will be coming onto the grid. So in addition to the containerized engines that are currently has an output of 10 megawatts, they would have an additional 4 megawatts, which will be adding 14 megawatts in total in addition to the grid. So we are doing our utmost in order to see how we can isolate the areas of the polling station in the event of load shedding to prevent any outages by the polling stations. However, if that do occur, we have assisted the Electoral Council with floodlights in order to make sure that there are lighting in the event of any darkness. On GB side, that is it for now. Thank you, and I'll wait any questions.
Good afternoon, media and citizens of St. Martin. Civil Registry has done all preparation as possible to ensure a smooth operation, as the chair lady of Central Voting Bureau just mentioned. We have sent all the voting cards. We have a few back from the postal services, and today is our last working day for collecting voting cards. So I'm asking everyone that did not receive the voting cards to come today. However, on August 19, Monday, we will be open for those that last minute, and I'm saying last minute, so try to arrange that today, and if not possible, we were still there for you on Monday, August 19th. We will be available or open from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. You can collect your voting cards, and in case that you have lost your ID card and you don't have any other valid documents, such as a national driver license or a valid passport, you can still renew your ID card on Monday, 19th of August at the Civil Registry Department. Also, I would like to inform that Belvedere Community Center is the largest polling station, whereby we have exceeded the 1,500, and we had to change one street from the polling station of Belvedere Community Center to the help desk in Dutch Quarter. So as the chair lady just said, please check your location of voting. So to be sure that even if you come late at the polling station, I mean late just before 8, you can still cast your vote, because if you have to drive to another polling station, you might have problems by reaching after 8. So please check your voting cards before leaving your house. Don't forget to take a valid identification and your voting card to the polling station on Monday, August 19. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. To start with, I must say that KPSM is now fully available and manned to be able to have a safe election day. We want to, though, ask the cooperation of the community for a few things. In the past, we have noticed that at the entrances of the polling stations, people cannot move freely to go cast their votes. And we would like to ask for the cooperation this year that everyone maintain themselves behind the barricades that will be placed at each polling station. Each polling station will be manned with 2 or 3 officers, depending on where it is. And they will be acting on instructions of the voorzitter of the Stem Bureau. So they will make sure guide you as instructed, and please follow instructions. Outside of the polling stations, we will have different teams who will be there to maintain public order and safety. Later on in the evening on the election day, we will also have our heightened normal controls that you can see carried out the last few days. Those will be ongoing on election day also. So we are fully ready, and we can guarantee safe election day.
All right, I think that concludes our initial remarks here, and I'll give the floor over to anyone from the media that would like to ask any questions to anybody seated here. Mr. Cerulean, I think you have to turn your mic on.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Chair Lady, you spoke of mechanism being put in place to ensure a smooth running of the elections. You spoke of the software that will be implemented. Can you tell us as to whether or not those softwares you spoke of have been, if those have been at least tested?
Yes, so as I said, we're piloting the software. I think Kathy can also give a little bit of insight on that too, but what we're doing is we're kind of using this election also as a dry run to try to professionalize and the election moving forward too. That will make it easier and easier for us to compile election data and results as they come in. You know, now a lot of things happen. One, it's all manual work, and then numbers are called in. Somebody listens to that, gets that in on the phone, they write it down, that goes to a data analyst. That person then again has to input numbers. So you're going through multiple steps in the process. So we're looking at how can we automate systems and tie them together where it's just one person inputting data and another person pulling that out. But of course, because this is the first time that we're testing this software, we're running it in tandem with the regular manual way of doing things to be able to double check and cross-reference. We don't want to be completely reliant on a new software that indeed we are testing now for the first time. So this is why I mention it kind of as a way that we're looking to professionalize and kind of move forward and modernize the way that we get election results. But this is the first time that we're testing it. So so that's why in that sense we mention it's a pilot, and we're going to see and compare the accuracy of the numbers, because we're getting it through different streams. So that's what we're looking at right now. I don't know if there was anything you wanted to add.
I can mention that this software system has been used within the kingdom already. So other islands has been using this during elections. So we have confidence in the software itself. Only we have to have a stable internet, and that's why also Ms. Declan mentioned that we are keeping both systems right now until we have more stability in the future.
Is there a time frame, though, that you're looking at to at least be able to say, hey, compared to the last elections, we are able to conclude and present the preliminary report of the results?
There's not a number that we can give directly. I think that differs per election. You never know what can happen in a polling station, why there may be delays, yes or no. That also depends on how quickly those polling station members are able to sort and count and go through, especially in the bigger polling stations. We see that takes a significant amount of time. I think what we also noticed in the previous election, and that's a discussion we'll have with the parties too, when it comes to election observers, sometimes they also make it that the process is delayed. If you are questioning every single step that's taken within that polling station when it comes to the counting, you are delaying the process. So I think we all have a role to play in how quickly those results come in. And at the same time too, we don't want to push polling station members to do quick work. I want accurate work. So it's not, go fast, fast, fast and see who finishes the fastest. We need to have accurate election results that we can trust and rely on. So in that sense, you don't want them to make those mistakes when they're trying to rush and do something, and you want them to do careful work. So my hope is that when I drive home on Tuesday morning is not light out, and because that's what it was the previous election. I think I left here at 6:30, almost 7 o'clock in the morning. So we're hoping at least that it's in the earlier hours of the night, and or let me say the morning, and not that late into 4 morning kind of things. So I don't want to make any promises to the public, because those are things that are out of my control. I'm reliant of the work of the polling station members and my data analyst, and we can't do much more than that. So I don't want to put too much pressure on other people, but I know that they'll do their work well and to the best of their ability.
I'm happy you made mention of election observers. Was there any request for such persons to be here?
No, for this election, we will not have any international observers. So the observers that I mentioned are of course, the observers of the political parties. Political parties often want to have, some of their own people come and observe the counting process, and that's also what they use when they come on Monday the 26th, which is when we will have the validation of the results, or any objections that are made with respect to for the preliminary result. That will be on Monday the 26th. So parties use, of course, things that they have observed during the evening to lodge those complaints with the Central Voting Bureau.
Ms. Schneiders, approximately how many polling stations do we have, and can you give us an idea as to where they are located?
So we have 20 polling stations. The two smallest polling stations are the Prison, Huis van Bewaring, and St. Martin Home. I will give a summary for you. We have polling station 1, John Larmony Center, that is Long Wall Road 20, or in Dutch, Lange Muurweg 20. And number 2 is Sundial School. Oh, I didn't give the amount by number 1, sorry. I have the wrong. So we have by John Larmony Center 935 eligible voters. By Sundial School we have 1,396. By St. Martin Senior Recreation Center, Hope Estate, we have 1,446. By Sister Marillo Rand School, Ellis Drive 1, that's Middle Region, we have 1,443. Number 5, Dutch Quarter Community Center, Zorg en Rust, 1,434. Number 6, Milton Peters College, MPC, that's LB Scott Road, 1,435. Number 7, Rupert Meinert Community Center, St. Peter's Road, 1,425. Number 8, St. Martin Academy, Copper Drive, number 3, 1,405. Butte Hotel, number 9, is 80 Ellich Road, number 2, 1,463. 10, Nipa, that is 1,427, that's Cahill. Number 11, Charles Leopold Bell School, that's Union Road, 1,288. Leonard Connor School in K-Bay, that's 815. Simpson Bay Sport Community Center, 1,117. Belvedere Community Center, 1,475. And they were 1,502, and we removed Bishop Hill Road and added to number 17. Yes? 15, Melford Hazel Sport and Recreational Center, that's Waldiga Road, 1,438. Then we have 16, Mac in St. John, 1,248. 17 is Dutch Quarter Community Help Desk, is 507. Number 18, Seventh-day Adventist School, that is in Colbay, 918. Then Huis van Bewaring, the prison, we have 65. And number 20, St. Martin Home, we have 67. And as we are speaking, the court is busy with decisions to add persons to the voting registry. Also, we have persons that passed away. We are removing from the voting registry. So Monday morning, we will have a small difference in our amount of voters. So we will deduct all the persons that passed away, and we will add all the ones that the courts made decision to add to this registry. Also, I must inform that we had about 80 persons that naturalized last beginning of August, and those are persons mostly that can request the court to add them to the voting registry. And as we're speaking now, we are busy with court cases, and Monday as well, we are in court for court's decisions. Thank you.
I think I'll just add a little bit onto what Kathy just mentioned. Because I think what we noticed in the previous election, there was a lot of to-do about the numbers in the prison, and I think this is an excellent explanation of why you see those changes. I think off the top of my head, the previous election, when you had seen the closure of the voting registry, the prison showed that there were 27 eligible voters, and then on election day, you see that there's 40 people that voted in the prison, and you see that that number actually went up, so because you get, of course, that, as she just mentioned, the court moves people around. If somebody gets arrested, their address changes from where they were residents before, and then they move to Point Blanche, and in that sense, then they also have to move from that polling station. So, on Monday, we're going to try to update those numbers throughout the day on Monday, but it could be that you see a number that exceeds another one, or you see things that you're kind of like, hey, this doesn't look right, and, don't, I would tell the public, don't worry too much. It's not that something really crazy is going on, but these are the explanations for that, and we will, of course, communicate that in a timely manner, or as we have the information. During the day, we'll, because up to Monday throughout the day, we will be processing those changes, because we're actually awaiting decisions from the court that we'll get on Monday. So it's a very, it's moving around a lot, let me put it that way.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. Marisa Hakmat, Energia TV Bonaire. I know there are provisions made for a person standing outside of the voting, the urnas, they say in Pavimento, at the polling stations. Are there other provisions made for after voting? Maybe it was mentioned while I was on my way here, but is there a curfew, the selling of alcoholic beverages, etc.? Was that also mentioned that after the voting, once you cast your vote and you go home, or you can hang around at a bar, etc., etc.? Thank you.
Right now, I think with respect to, I know that there was some talk about a ban on a prohibition on the sale of alcohol on election day. However, to my knowledge at present, I have not seen any published prohibition. So it could be that this happens prior to Monday, but at this point, I wouldn't be able to speak with certainty because I haven't seen anything legally prohibiting that, or perhaps I'm looking at the chief. So where that's concerned, no, but I know that we did have it in the previous election. There was one that came out on I think even on election day. So at this point, I see a nod over here. So it'll maybe be in place by Monday, but I know that it was mentioned. However, nothing was published as yet.
Ms. Snyders, approximately how many voting cards were returned to the police, up to the post office?
1,223 was returned on the 9th of August, and Monday we received 203 that was placed in the PO boxes. They removed them and they brought them back to us. So again, the PO boxes were used as post office has a customary with their clients that they will put for those that has PO box, and most of them, I believe, was not collected. So those they delivered on Monday, that was 203 additional. And we have more than that amount of persons coming to collect the voting cards these days. So again, I want to emphasize on make use of our opening today to collect all the voting cards that was not delivered, or that maybe, I can also inform that a lot of persons asked for duplicate because of the weather condition and their voting cards was outside. Now our situation on the island that not everyone has a box, so some of them got damaged because of the rain, and when they tried to open the envelope, it was sticking on top of the information, so they are coming by us to collect their voting cards.
I have a question for the Chief of Police. Chief, we know that law enforcement were requested to at least be here from the ABC Islands to be able to assist during the period and after the elections. Approximately how many officers have arrived, and who will they be working directly under? Who will be supervising those officers?
Thank you, Stephen. 25 officers from the 3 islands will be assisting us for election, and they fall directly under the mandate of the Chief of Police. Next to that, there will be 40 Marines flown in, next to the 16 that are stationed in St. Martin. And naturally, like every other big event, we are also supported by the VCAS.
I wanted to come back to the question about because apparently there is, so I wanted to clarify that. So there was something published on July 31st, actually. So then I think also good for the public to know that in this case, it's a prohibition on the sale of alcohol from Sunday, August 18th, starting at 6 p.m. until 6 in the morning on Tuesday, the 20th of August. So then it is prohibited for stores or anyone to sell alcoholic beverages or provide them to anybody. And then, of course, there are exceptions for hotels and for the airport.
Thank you.
My final question is for Mr. Washington. GB and being able to keep on the power during the elections. You made mention that provision has been put in place to ensure that the polling stations are well lit up during the period. But what about your capacity to be able to keep electricity on throughout the island during elections on the day in question?
Thank you for that question, Cyril. We expect that we will be having a higher supply for our demand. Right now, we are experiencing this surge around our cool water engines, which is affecting engines 7, 14, and 15. Even though those engines are running at a reduced capacity, we are load shedding less cables at this moment because of the testing of engine 8 and the containerized engines. So for us to get a better understanding of exactly where we are with our supply, once the surge comes down, that we can use our seawater cooling engines at full capacity, we'll be able to judge our supply versus the demand a lot better. So I would say by Sunday, we'd have a better idea of if we're going to be doing extreme load shedding or just one cable at a time, or maybe no cables at all. But in the event of any type of load shedding, we have discussed with the Electoral Council that we would keep the polling stations at the best of our ability out of the load shedding schedule. Thank you.
Then I see that there are no further questions from the media. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in.
Time for a commercial break. Welcome to Late Night Show. We have a good one for you. Let's begin.
I know why they don't like La Cruz Francisco. Cause he giving people job opportunity. I know why they don't like La Cruz Francisco. Cause we voting number 4 for UP party. Yeah. He have the solution for black ops night and immigration policy. Vote number 4. Preparenting committee. Vote number 4. Introducing LNG. Vote number 4. Reconstructing ministry. Vote number 4. St. Peter's. You know ready? Get it done for you.
It's time to raise the bar, let's take it to the top. It's time to choose qualified people to rep for ya. From the prisoners to senior, she's right here for ya. Can't forget the education, it's time for better. She's ready and she's focused to get the job done. SXM, the time is now, let us all vote for change. Shamira is the candidate to represent for us. She's gonna represent us locally and even to the Dutch.
It's so good. Hey, he's a man for the people. Do anything that he needs to. Standing on business, no time for the gimmicks. He's a real deal, no time for pretending. Say Martin, you know that he's the one. Here to serve the people and to get the job done. When everybody else turn their backs and they run, just know that you could always count on Ed's a gun. Tell me why.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. N-A-G-I-C-O. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Nagico too.
Nagico is insurance. Insurance is Nagico.
Say Martin, for this election. We voting for Jurendi Duran, for governmental progress.
Good day, as you know, on the road with Duran. Although this time is a bit different because we're not on any side roads. We're on the main road of Dutchwater. As you know, over the years, Dutchwater have been plagued with many issues for infrastructure. What you're seeing happening here now is with respect to the sewage network, which had some challenges over the last couple of decades. But indeed, as we move forward, we were able to reprioritize some funds in order to allocate enough funds to continue with this project.
To save this country, we need everybody to vote Duran.
Interview segment right here on the Late Night Show, and we are joined by the one, the only Mr. Buncamper. How you doing, sir?
I am good, Andrew, man.
Listen, I must say that this time around you have done an amazing job with informing the people again after the last election, and you are here now again. Why don't you? Why?
Why? I am 61 years old, Andrew, and I believe before I close my eyes, I want to make a structural difference for Samaritan. Samaritan needs to hit a different course now. Our legacy cannot be what it has been. We cannot say from 2010 to 2024 we are happy how we governed. We cannot be that. We have not ensured that our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren even have a chance of existence in this country with the way we have sold out this country over the years. Can I fix everything? Absolutely not. I'm human. I have also my limitations. But what I do bring to the table that I know many others don't bring is experience, out-of-the-box thinking, ability, and knowledge. I bring that where others want to come and learn on the job and tell me, oh, we're going to do this, don't worry, we're going to fix it down the road. No, there is no down the road. We have kicked the can that it fell off the road now into the ditch. So we got to stop this about we're going to do it tomorrow, we're going to do it next week. Let's just deal with this piece now. No, Samaritan needs a structural change, not only in government, but across the board. Look at our utilities, look at our internet, look at our medical care, look at our tourism. I mean, what was good 25 years ago is not good today. And I'm not saying that the people did a wrong job. Please don't misunderstand me. Samaritan has been very dynamic. It has changed. We have had big hurricanes, and we have traveled and done moving forward with the means that we had at that point in time. After Lewis, things were totally different than after Irma, for example. While there were two major hurricanes, the way of approach was totally different. In 1995, the Dutch them sat in a container with a checkbook and they paid for everything there and then. This time around, we sent it through the World Bank, pay them 80 million euros, and we still don't know what we get in. So two totally different ways of approach I have definitely seen it. But Andrew, this country needs a change. It really, really needs a change. And the change has to be that the world has changed. Climate change has now hit in. We can't afford GB bills because of the fuel clause. Not because of the bill itself, but because of the fuel clause. Here you pay 25 cents per kilowatt hour, and then you get another 42 cents on fuel. I mean, nearly twice as much. So 1/3 of your bill is the consumption, and the rest is the fuel to make the consumption. And I'm saying, so we get the free fuel through the air, through the sun, or through garbage. We don't want that. Let's go buy more motors. And I'm saying to myself, wait, am I missing something? Is there something that we are not comprehending? Look, I understand that engines are needed while the transition is ongoing. But if it's going to take 2 years or 3 years to build new engines, it takes less time to put solar on the roofs, and it takes less time to build a waste-to-energy plant. I don't care if it comes from Holland, America, Canada, I don't care. Just bring it. Because we have free fuel, we have free garbage. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, I can call his name, he says, most of the garbage burned. No, most didn't burn. Yes, the bottom 20 years burned, I agree with you. But the top 20 ain't burned yet. So let's use it. Let's use it. Let's dig down the landfill where we can. We have 770 cruise ships coming here and they dump in the garbage here anyway. So what are we fooling ourselves? Let's charge them now a tipping fee and make some money. We have Sabre and Stacia. About 8 weeks ago, I had a meeting with people that came here from the Netherlands that were based at CAR, looking at how St. Martin and Sabre and Stacia can work together. They didn't speak to government. They found me because they realized I am willing to have a discussion that needs to be had the correct way. Think out of the box. Stop locking yourself down. That the government locked itself down with grid market, that's the government's problem. The government signed that contract. Not GB, no. GB signed up there. GB is not subject to grid market. The government is subject to grid market. So, put the alternative energy where it belongs by GB. I have no issue with GB working with it, you know. I have no issue with GB doing the solar. I have no issue with GB doing wind power because that's where it is. Now you're hearing cries on the horizon about let's review the concession. Let's see if we're going to give them a monopolistic position and only GB going to make electricity. When you hear this, you have to say, wait, this is a very small island, you know. This is 16 square miles. And you want to talk about a second electric production company? And I'm saying, boy, wait. It sounds nice, you know. Everybody's frustrated with GB right now. So it sounds nice. Sounds great. Hey, that's a good idea. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No.
You leave things go bad, and then you want to stop it by changing it. Yeah. Listen, I have been critical of GB. Very critical. I will criticize you when I see the criticism that is needed, but I will also give you a solution. I am a very solution-oriented person. I am what you call in the game of politics a fixer. I fix things.
But actually, I just call it more like an all-rounder.
Well, I don't play all positions. What I try to do is bring people together.
Yeah.
Let us try to think in the same direction. Let's look for a solution that is plausible. I have always said, why we can't dollarize is still for me, it's a confusion.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, you know, we pay everybody in dollars. I think only the government and the airport and a few banks pay in guilders yet. Everybody else gets it in dollars. Yet, we don't print no money because we ain't got gold to go print extra money. The dollars they're printing every day. Every day they print in dollars. So we'll never have a problem with currency, with shortage of currency. That's what I mean with printing money. I think we have to review where we are with the banking world in St. Martin. People can't get accounts. If I go to America, in an hour I get an account in a bank. In St. Martin, it takes me 6 months. I got to go dig up my grandmother, take out a tooth to show that her DNA is this. It is ridiculous what they do. And then they come with know your client and a risk that you carry. Please. If it is good for the goose, it must be good for the gander.
Okay, Toncha, now we're going all over. I want to go specifics. Let me start off with the crime situation, because that's also a big concern for a lot of people here right now. Do you think that it's to a point whereby it's a point of no return, or do you still have hope that? Because I mean, you've been around, so you know St. Martin during some peak times.
Why do you have crime? Because you have poverty. Because people can't get a decent job because they got a police record. For every little marijuana cigarette they pick up, they lock them up. They put them in. So you can't get a job, you can't get a scholarship. Look, I am not saying that that's the only issue, but the social surroundings of the people. Do you have heavy crime coming out of Oyster Pond? No, you don't.
No.
Let's be honest.
That's true.
It is in the socially troubled neighborhoods. And it is because we only say, man, don't worry, those little fellas, man, they're going to get... No.
They're going to grow out of it.
They're not. They're not. The older they get, the more their needs are. Why do you think I was so specific in legalization of cannabis? It is something a lot of these youngsters are involved in. If you legalize it, and they're a part of this production and distribution, they are going to make money. They don't need to rob. Crime will go down. Social control will take care of all the gang fighting and the school fights. You know why? Because those fellas who in charge ain't like the police, you know, their rules are a little different. You're going to bring back social control. This thing about the village going to raise the child, those days have long passed because social media became the village and not the old people and the parents. Because they're walking. The grandmother today is 50 years old. The mother is 30.
Yeah.
And the child is 15. There is no village raising, okay? Social media raising. Let us be honest. We have to look at it truly through the glasses that are not tinted with lies or with want to make believes. Because that's what it is. People, oh, we could do it. No, you can't. If you could, it would have been done, Andrew.
Before, yeah.
It would have been done. You know, up to today, we have too much of violence among young people because they have been taught in the past 20 years through social media that violence is the way to go. Look at Tom and Jerry, the cartoon. You notice the mouse always putting a beating on the on you with a stick or something? Violence. It is taught to them from a young age.
Yeah.
And while maybe not with intent, it is there now. So how do you deal with this? How do you bring back people that we can have a discussion, we can disagree, and you don't have to pull a gun and shoot me?
Yeah.
Or you don't have to pick up a 2x4 and hit me, or wait till I turn my back and attack me, or call 5 friends and jump me. We have to turn back that clock. That violence is what bothers me most. That we have a lot of guns. A lot of people believe that we don't have enough police officers. Factual. We don't have enough. So if I gotta wait 10 minutes for them to come, or half an hour for them to come and another one, I gotta arm myself to protect myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to become a statistic.
Yeah, so you deal with the consequences,
yes,
whatever.
And so are business people now, and so are other people on the street. They're being bullied. What happens to a child or an adult that's bullied? He's going to protect himself. And the minute he see you coming, he lashing out with or without provocation.
It's true.
This is the reality we live in, and that's what we need to fix. Stop telling me, oh, we go arrest. No, arrest do what? You have no place to put them.
You have no place.
We went in Dutch Quarter. Look, I do not promote violence. And what they did, in my opinion, was totally wrong because you send the wrong message. You didn't send a message to the police, oh, we afraid of you. You just send the message, okay, now we're going to double down. So we're going to bring in the Marines too. Now we're going to hold on to a bunch of you and show you that we are still the power. You are not. They arrested, 18, 19 of them? Some of them in the police station crying like little children. Because some of them were little children. They were 15 years old. You see, Andrew, we have to be honest. We're going to build a $40 million jail. But we're going to take $40 million and invest it into social programs, rehabilitation programs, agriculture, fisheries, where people could get a job. We sit by here and look at $25 million, leave the trust fund, go to Chinese companies off island. But we don't stand up here and say, it should be by our own contractors. And then you come and give me a Nancy story. Oh, 90% of the work was given to the locals. How much that was in money?
Yeah, because
it wasn't 90% of the money was given.
No, 90% of the work.
Exactly.
And that's a trick.
It is that exactly. They use words and people just blow over this, but not Buncamper.
Yeah.
I don't just blow.
You look at the specifics and
I look very specifically because that's how you determine where you are and where you can go. That's why I always talk about the Buncamper effect. Knowledge, ability, and experience. You know what you have and you know what you want. Now is to find that transition from A to B. You need people like me that have a proven record of doing that to do that for you now. This is not a time to go in Parliament to learn. Wait for another time. Now we need experienced people in there.
And hit
that
ground
can,
running.
yes, sir. Because all 15 will have to come together, Andrew, and make the difference. This is not me against them or we against them. No, this is we doing this for country, St. Martin. And if we can't do that, then man, don't get on the list.
Don't get it.
Just get off, man. Just get off.
Claudius Buncamper, the number 2 candidate on the Now Party. Mr. Buncamper, as far as our seniors is concerned, I noticed that you've given some extra attention during this campaign. I'm sure because of having to also hear the ills of these seniors.
You know, Andrew, seniors have always been close to my heart. From the last campaign, it was the seniors and the legalization of cannabis. Those were two of the big ones, and animal welfare. That was the third one. But for seniors, I am so concerned right now, Andrew, because not only are they being taxed, but now they're getting heavy assessments. Because, you see, when you have a pension, Andrew, people don't understand this. Once your pension is above minimum wage, you are taxed. You are taxed as an income. Then you have AOV, because everybody gets AOV. That AOV is below minimum wage, so it's not taxed. At the end of the year, they take the two and put them together. And then they come for income tax. So a lot of people end up with a 5, 6, 7,000 guilder back tax. Because when they got that little AOV, they spend it. They put it to make ends meet. They want to do something for their grandchild or for their child. And they use the money. And then GB starts to suck money, food going through the roof, buses want to raise, and that becomes a problem because the cost of living is not indexed on the pension. It is indexed on your salary. When you work in union, they fight for cost of living. But nobody fighting for the seniors, for their pension to be increased with cost of living because it was never meant to be so. So I am saying, how much tax are we collecting from the seniors right now? It's about 3 to 4 million guilders. If we were willing to send 3 million guilders a year to Curacao, to a foreign company to bail out people, when we could have bailed them out here ourselves, I have a problem. I said it from day one. Let me say it again. Those 3,000 in-year policyholders, we have to adjust the law of APS. It's a law that governs APS.
Okay.
Algemene Pensioenfonds Samaritan. The General Pension Fund of Samaritan is governed by laws. And one of the laws says we have to be working to be insured for pension. So we're going to adjust it and we're going to create a clause where these 3,000 people come in under their conditions. So the conditions they have at India now will remain. The premiums they have at India now will remain and they go into APS. And the same way you wanted to give me 3 million to pay India for 30 years, you can give that to me now and they're going to give it to APS. Oh, that can't work. Why it can't work? Because you said so, but I is your boss. St. Martin is the boss from Central Bank, together with Curacao.
It's St. Martin Curacao.
Exactly, but St. Martin is a boss. 22%, 28%, whatever it is. We're a boss. 3 clowns in Curacao and tell us what we could do,
Yeah, I know.
But when you're afraid,
I was just about
when you're afraid of them, they're going to tell you what to do. That's why this minister stood her ground. And I hear all them crying today, oh, how come they had a meeting and they're going to push it on Friday because they're going to do it after elections? But you had your chance for 4 years. You ain't do nothing for the seniors. Now suddenly everybody want tax-free for seniors and they want hypocrisy. You see what it is? When you can't do what others can, you start to find fault by others. We have wolves in sheep clothing. We have followers, and we just simply have some dummies in between. Let us not fool ourselves. The public of St. Martin really needs to look at the candidates that are being presented because some of them can't read and write decent. Yet they want to go into Parliament. We got some people that don't know the Constitution that they swore on the oath to uphold. But they don't know the Constitution. Then you said to yourself, wait, how can this become our legacy? You know, Andrew, seniors, I'm 61, I'm going to be a senior just now. So I understand when a 30-year-old say, me worried out right now, no. That's their problem. Because that's what the last Minister of Finance did. He didn't worry them. 4 years he sat there. He never one day gave it thought. I asked him over 3-4 times. My wife used to work for him, so I used to be there. I begged him a few times, man, listen, look at this, look at that. Always an excuse. Always an excuse. As if he doesn't have a grandma or mommy that is reaching pension age just now. These are things that bother me. Because when you are so dumbfounded in your thinking that seniors that have paved the way for you to be where you are today, that you don't care about them in their golden years, I got a serious problem with that. I got a serious problem with that.
So
it's the same like you're tying a dog outside without water in the hot sun.
Yeah.
And tell him fend for yourself.
Makes no sense. Especially if you tie them up.
Thank you.
As far as the legislation is concerned, so you can see that there's nothing that that you go and have to go and create. There's a bunch of laws that you have to go just amend.
Listen,
just
the tax law tells you how you're taxed. It includes taxing pensions. So that's what you amend. You don't need to amend the whole law. You amend that. And then there's going to be a shortfall in monies where you are. And that shortfall, we find another way. Look, right now we're cutting the budget for 30 million. Because they have put airport this, winner shares that, all kind of stupidness. Well,
bunch of wishes.
Come 2025, the 1st of January, stop taxing them. And we're going to find the 3 million someplace. Until CFT come tell you some nonsense.
Claudius Buncamper, the no candidate number 2. Why Claudius Buncamper? Talk to them, Tocha.
Let me come up with it.
Yes.
Why me? I'm experienced. I have knowledge. I have ability. I have no place to go. I love this country. Country above self. I've always said it. My track record of 35 years giving civic service to this country without getting a penny in return shows my dedication to my country. Let others come out and say what they have done for the past 20 years, 30 years for the country without asking their hand so and doing so. I can boldly say I never did that. I love my country. I have a few good years yet, and I want to put a legacy in place that means that the grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and your great-grandchildren will have a future in St. Martin. St. Martin belongs to us. We just stop giving it away. We give it away every time. This time, it's time to keep it for us. So the boys on the block, you all can be guaranteed with Buncamper in Parliament that job ain't going no place named Canada. Right here in St. Martin for you all. Seniors, I am here for you all. I have no place to go. 4 years from now, I might be joining you in the bandwagon of seniors. So I have a serious desire to ensure that that road is paved moving forward and not bumpy as it is right now.
Of course, you still bond them? Still bond them, take the money and then...
No, I tell you already, I don't believe. You see, one get locked up, he got mute. One get picked up, he got mute. More gonna get picked up before Monday, you're gonna see people get mute. All they gotta do is walk around them, shake them.
Shake them a little bit?
As soon as they shake them, people can get scared. I can't use that word. Okay. But you know, don't take their money. Stay away from them. If you see them coming off of your money, lift up your hand and say, police officer, this one here selling me, pay me. Because we have to understand the damage we do to our country by selling ourselves. If you are willing to take money for a vote, what would you not take money for then? Because there are other times it's going to be hard on you. You're going to sell yourself. Because it is a serious question you have to ask yourself. How far are you willing to go with selling out? Not only yourself, because you're not voting for yourself. You're voting for your country. You're voting for your children. You're voting for your grandchildren and others to be born yet. That's who you're voting for. That's what it's all about. This isn't about you having a nice payday. That's what the reality is in St. Martin.
All right. Thank you, Tocha. Claudius Buncamper. Late night show.
7 of 7. This is your candidate number 7. And I have 7 questions that my team got from you online for me to answer. And this question says, how would you handle GB if you was in a minister or a parliamentary position? So the GB situation is one that we know is affecting all of us very negatively. We're all very frustrated with what we're experiencing. And for me, I feel like it has so many different arms of how GB needs to be addressed. Of course, we know generators is something that was brought in. That's an expense there. You have some persons feel like we should have bought. Some persons feel like we should lease to own. I think the latter is what we're doing. Yes, we need to have sustainable electricity and water, etc., because that's a part of human necessity, right? Basic necessities. I'm concerned about the cost that is being levied on the people. I honestly believe that these debts need to be wiped out entirely. Someone even asked me, what about the people who's paying? And I think they should get a grace period for like a year or so. I think GB needs to get a financial injection to be able to give them that breathing space to financially reform itself. When I say reform, I'm talking about even the billing system that is being used, because if I'm to be totally transparent and honest with you, I really feel like something isn't right with what's happening. The Consumer Protection Platform or Consumer Protection Bureau is the approach I have, because within the community we can hear and politicians and different people giving their ideas, and I'm not saying that their ideas aren't good ones. I believe that there are experts in the world who could be able to help us get out of this very negative space we're in, because we've tried to do it locally and we're having our challenges with that. But for me, it's a case of, as Minister of in particular, I'll say justice. I talked about the Consumer Protection Bureau, and that is a platform that can be done immediately through the Ministry of Justice. The laws exist, and I believe we need to protect our consumers. I'd like to know if, as a parliamentarian, I would want to approach the legislative structure that governs this whole talk about government-owned companies, because the moment of hearing government-owned companies, one levies the responsibility to make sure it goes right on the government. But there are layers to the way this is structured legally. And so for me as a parliamentarian, I would want to approach, first of all, that legal structure to see if we can amend it and give more authority where it may be needed to fix the situation, more directive. I've heard things in my experience about inappropriate or unfit boards being established, and that's what's contributing to our situation right now. And as you know, if you've been following me, I'm the type of person who feels like, proper decisions have to be made now, or else we suffer the consequences in the future. As a matter of fact, we are suffering the consequences of decisions that were made in the past. So for me, those would be the approaches I would take if I were either the Minister of Justice or a minister versus that of a Member of Parliament. Hope I answered your question. Thank you.
No worries, cause you know we got the sweetheart deals. It's summertime. Let me tell you where it's going down. Motor World in Cold Bay, come on down. And let me tell you when it's going on. August 31st, better write it down. So many cars for you to see. Changan Hyundai GAC. Bring a friend, bring your family. First monthly payment free. Hot deals. Here we go. Motor World's the place to go. The price is sweet, the price is low. The hot summer car show. We got the deals on the Hondas. We got the deals on the Mazdas. We got the deals on the Audis. We got the deals on the whole fleet.
The Motor World Hot Summer Car Show is going down Saturday, August 31st with on-the-spot financing from RBC Bank and Windward Islands Bank. Receive up to $4,000 off, your first monthly payment free, and a free gift like a 50-inch Samsung TV with your purchase. Plus, 100% financing is available. No down payment required. Check out Motor World's website and social media pages for more information.
Welcome to the National Institute for Professional Advancement, where dreams meet education. At NEPA, we offer 9 exciting programs to help you reach your full potential. From our state-of-the-art culinary program, where you can master the art of cooking, to our hospitality program, preparing you for the dynamic world of service. Our electrical installation technician program offers hands-on experience and practical skills for a bright future. Our ICT program is designed for the digital age, and our general property maintenance program helps you craft a solid foundation in construction. Plus, gain real-world skills in our automotive technology program, with day and evening classes and validated certifications. Join us at NEPA, where your journey to success begins. Enroll now.
Interview time right there on the Late Night Show, and we are here with the one, the only, the real York. Mr. Daryl York. How we doing, sir?
All right,
You know, I have to set you up, you know. I have to set you up. How things going so far? 2 more days to go. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
I hope you're
Compared
feeling more
to
than you look. You look very like, huh? Take a breath, man.
I must say, health-wise, I'm doing much better than the last time.
Oh.
The last time I had to literally pull myself over the finish line. The last 2 weeks were hell. And this time I took a little better care of myself. I had no choice.
You had no choice.
I had no choice. You know, my team, they've been on my case, you know. But for some reason, I still lose weight. I don't know how, but I guess that's part of it.
That's part of it. Now, of course, there is a specific section that you champion that I want to tackle today on the show, which is creatives. Let me talk about the creatives.
Okay.
I know that is something that you've always worked on. So if you could give us just a rundown of what specific you're going to work on for the creatives.
Well, you know, when I said orange economy a year and a half ago, a lot of people didn't really understand what it was.
Correct.
It was basically pushing the creative industry. And that is something that my team and I have been pushing since 2006. So prior to going to Holland, you remember when you and Rolando had our radio show?
Yes.
And I was having friendly banter with another radio show on 102.7?
Yes, that was you and Rob. I know.
So since then, you know, we had a weekly LIS, and it was a local and international show. That was during the campaign, where we bring different professionals from different disciplines, from different generations together. We have panel discussions spanning various things of the industry, speaking industry talk. And something that they didn't realize the last time was that, you know, they know each other for years, but they never spoke industry with one another. You know, and you know, bringing that camaraderie, creating that camaraderie, creating that platform to where they can network, inspire one another, bring one another, and also back one another. Because the last time we had a silent auction as well for someone that wanted to further the creative endeavors. You know, so the first time we did it, it was like 27 people came out because everyone thought it was like an election gimmick. And we've been there, we've been doing those things, and we continued it after as well. So the second event, which was after the elections, was the beginning of March. We had over 100 people come out.
Okay.
Where we also launched the Leicester Garden magazine as well. And so fair enough to say, it's gaining organic traction and organic growth. And the next event is tentatively on the 23rd of November.
Okay, so we already moving.
You know, and then when it comes to plans and vision, you know, when you look at the sports sector, you look at the health sector, you know, you have, contrary to what you may think, they have structure. You know, you have a legislative body, you have an executionary body, you have an overview body when it comes to the different federations, etc. In culture, creative industries, you don't have that. You know, like for example,
everybody wants to put themselves.
It's a bunch of there's a lot of different islands. Everybody doing their own thing, and and they have those that are successful doing it. But you also have those that, you know, could use the help of those that basically look. You're each other's competition, but you're also each other's downfall as well. Because, for example, if I'm an entertainer, if I'm a group, and I, for lack of a better example right now, let's say I'm at nowhere special, right? Before I was, you know, doing gigs there, they had maybe 20 people a night. And after 6 months of us doing gigs there, they had over 100 people a night. But I'm still making the same money I was making 6 months ago, but you, the facility, you're making 6 times that.
Yeah.
You know? But if I come to you and I say, hey, I want to raise, you know, the agreement we had 6 months ago, next thing you know, my competition is in my spot because they may be charging less than I charge.
Hell yeah.
But now if we had like a committee of entertainers, a federation of entertainers, to where we decide what our bottom line is, then by virtue of you going to someone else, that person getting paid what they deserve as well.
But how do you get them to work together? Because we know that's
it's about seeing, having that vision, that collaborative vision. And you don't always have to work together, but you need to know where you guys want to get at as a collective. You know, so you can still do individual things, but you guys have a couple of things that you guys made agreements on.
Yeah.
And, that's just one aspect of, one of the benefits of it. But you also have a place where you can guarantee more quality. Because to be part of the federation, you need to be official. That's where you promote having a business license, operational, your business license, or you have your big protections. That's where you could educate, your members. Because right now, you might have someone that has a business license or don't have the business license, don't know how to work the taxes, or have intellectual property that's not protected. These are a lot of things that you tend to say an artist is very good at what they do, but they're not a very good business person. But they are very good artistically in what they do. And having these associations, you can also, it's easier to do workshops. It's easier
tap into that market.
Yes, so you don't know what you don't know, and it's about sharing the knowledge and getting the knowledge, the information out as much as possible. And anything you've seen of the Daryl York platform has been bringing that information, the right information that you need to know, not what you want to know. So a lot of times as politicians, we tend to sit down and act like we have all the answers and come to me, I'm going to be a hero, and even if I don't have the answer, I'm going to lie and pretend I give you an answer. Where I think as a politician, yes, you need to be knowledgeable, but you also need to be able to know how to facilitate the right information.
And listen.
So that's basically what,
in a
nutshell, what the Daryl York campaign encompasses, but it's specifically for the creative industry. So having a more collaborative, structured vision moving forward to where it's easier to go and get that back in now as an association or as a association, because now you could apply for international grants that you weren't privy to as a single entity. But because you're a group now, you can apply for it. When you step into government, when you step into any, as a group, you stand stronger than by yourself, And at the end of the day, you're not just artists, you're entrepreneurs as well. And this is where you can start pushing the entrepreneur movement to make things more feasible for entrepreneurs. At least startup businesses, especially your first 2 years. So it goes very deep, but it starts with having a vision and one thing. What I'm about is not about separate plans, but we're working towards one vision.
That's what I like the fact that you were able to include it, and it makes me go over to if elected, what are do you have plans to stick into the legislative, or you have plans for the executive? And if you do have plans for your legislation, the legislative hall, what are some of the things that you're going to work on immediately?
Well, anyone that has listened to me, I come at a 360 approach. So basically, you have both legislative initiatives, and you also have ministerial initiatives, specific things you can do on each side. So to answer your first question, legislative-wise, pertaining to which sector?
Pertaining to, in general, yeah. So what's your short-term, long-term?
Short-term, long-term. Well, short-term is basically finding a way to, you have the schools, you have the elderly, when I say elderly, you have elderly facilities, so like the where they gather.
Yeah.
And you have the elderly homes, and you have the schools. And right now, especially startups as well. So we just spoke about entrepreneurs, small business. And right now, when they start up, they have to pay the TOT from the day one. They have to pay the profit tax from day one. They have to pay their commercial rate GB prices from day one. And if we complain about our private rates, you don't want to see the commercial rates. So these are all different things that we could basically put that entrepreneur or that elderly person or that school in a position where they can either reinvest into themselves or keep more money in their pocket. Because
so that's what you're going to dig into if elected. So as a parliamentarian, you work together with
the concession agreement that GB has with government pertaining to these different things. That is one of the first things I will be delving into.
I like that. You ain't reinventing the wheel, why? You just go in to whatever is there, you're going to just make sure that it is.
We tend to act like we need to come with all different type of legislation. Yes, that's part of it. But in 1010, a lot of legislation was divvied up and mandated to the different ministries and the different departments. But where was the reevaluation since then?
Yeah, outdated stuff.
It's outdated. And when you look at when these ministries want to work together, cross-ministerial projects and stuff, a lot of these legislation works as yellow tape, where it makes the job harder than it's supposed to be, where legislation is there to actually make it easier, and more straightforward. So where that is concerned, that's so reevaluating the current legislations and making sure that it's actually structured properly. Because right now, if what stops a company, a restaurant from opening up next door to your house right now?
Okay. Yeah.
Your business license, operation license, most of the time is tied to your name and to your business, not to your location.
Okay.
But when do you get your hindrance permit? Do you get it before or after you apply for your business license?
Usually depends on which side of the island you're on.
So making these things more streamlined, that is paramount. And when it comes to more long term, I've been preaching this for a long time now. Two different things. We have, if you want to build a house, you gotta get a permit. All these things you have to, your drawing, your has to adhere to. But if I'm a developer and I want to develop a piece of land to sell, or if I want to build a road, it's free reign.
Free for all.
Free for all.
Yeah, free for all.
And right now, it's purely beneficial for developers. And for new landowners, they get stuck in a situation to where they're stuck with a lemon for different reasons. Either they were so happy to get land and buy land, where maybe they bought it and the developer promised them that infrastructure is coming. Or, they're in the hills and they invest in land where they don't know what they're buying. So by the time they finish excavating, they dug so much to get solid ground. By the time they look up, you meters and meters and meters of a retaining wall you got to put up.
That happens?
Yes, it happens. Wow. Meters and meters of a retaining wall you have to put up, and you know how much these things cost. That's part of your house right there. So basically, when you get your loan from the bank, you get your first phase to build your house, but you can't make it to the second phase because you take a lot of that money to build your retaining wall. Now you're stuck. Or you built your house, but you're stuck without your GB lines, your electrical lines, because the infrastructure never came.
So we don't need to get like a protection agency or something like that. It's better to have the executive level to have clear and concise rules.
You start there. So the Consumer Protection Agency is more for products, products and service. But this is property, right? So you start off by saying, hey, these are the rules that you have to adhere to. You can't sell land unless you have X, Y, Z on it. And if you were selling land in the hills, if you're going to put up a retainer wall, this is how you're supposed to do it. Okay. So right now you're going to say, after a certain amount of helling, so basically elevation, you need to have a retaining wall. Okay, but how? Does the retaining wall on situation A have to be the same one as situation B? Because when you look at it, a lot of these walls fall down, Andrew.
Yeah.
For a reason. If you build a retaining wall the way you would build your wall in front of your yard, it's not going to last. But who's testing these things and who's double checking these designs?
Also, all of these things are the facts and check and balances.
Checks and balances. And then even on the ministerial side of things, you might say, okay, Daryl, it's not a utopia, but if I apply for a permit and let's just go off for what is standard, you're supposed to get it back within 8 weeks, but let's say I want it in 2 weeks, I should be able to pay for that, right? Legally.
Okay.
I should be able to fast track my own if I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's creating more funds, right? Legally, right?
Legally. Of course, yeah. I see the stretch.
Right? So, if I could go to Disney World and I could pay more for my ticket to get in the fast lane, why can't I do that when it comes to getting my services?
But should government get into the fast tracking business, or is it a way of you to create more revenue?
You're talking about revenue, the right way, right? Okay. If you're creating revenue the right way, it's legal. All right. It's a choice if you want to fast track it, and if you want to fast track it, this is what it costs. But once you pay that, everyone knows it's legal, and this money is going to good use. So
the more the time he say legal. I understand. Now, what do you look forward to the most, especially on Monday, they have elections? The atmosphere is not too welcoming like the last election, I must say, because of the different security measures that have been put in place. So I guess, I don't know if that maybe deters you from, or at least think People will
I
be
think,
deterred.
I think the manner in which all of these things has been communicated gave a very negative stigma, a negative feeling, and I think it's going to have an adverse effect to what they originally thought it would have, because it's giving everything else besides I feel extra safe.
Yes.
You know, so that's what I say. When I first came out with my campaign, and people asked me, "Hey, Daryl, so what are the pillars you're championing?" And I said, "Okay, I got pillars too, but I got some other stuff I'm mainly focusing on." And when I said, if you could remember good, I said honesty, transparency, accountability, structure, and proper communication. You know, and people say like, okay, you can't eat those things, so you know it's not tangible. But when you look at everything that's going on right now, and if you got to point and be critical of what's going on right now,
It's because of those
we
pillars.
lack all of those things right now. So
Correct. Yeah.
when you ask me how is it campaigning this time compared to the last time, people coming up to me and say, "Okay, Darren, now I understand what you're saying, and what you was saying, and I'm still saying." So you know,
it didn't change.
It didn't change. So when I said forward thinking, the last time, I'm like, what do you mean? And I hope things like GB happen, or, you know, things like other things happening. Like, okay, so if we had do something today, and we're thinking 10 years, 15 years down the road, we wouldn't, you know. So yeah, so my message hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
And the events over the last couple of months further, you would say, underlined that what I was saying was not nonsense. Like, for example, when I screamed zoning plans last year, people were like, oh, we're zoning plans, whatever. And now you hear people want to do, you hear politicians in parliament saying, yeah, solar parks and these type of things. Oh, and what's the status on the zoning plans? These are the type of things I've been saying since last year. You know, so it's good to see that the things that I've been echoing over the last year and a half has come to fruition now, that you know it's very prevalent in today's society.
Talk to the people, Daryl. Just 1 minute. Why Daryl York?
To be honest, I'm not going to use the whole minute. At this point, you know, a lot of politicians came up the last time, especially new ones, and they said, vote for me, because I'm the person to vote for. And after the elections went master draw, especially those that didn't win, which was the majority of us, they all disappeared. You could hear a pin drop after it. But the one person that didn't disappear was me. Everything that I started, I continue. You know, they say governing is about continuation. I'm not the one to think that you need to be elected before you could show that you can actually do the job. So when it comes to continuing what you started, continuing what has been started, that's what I've been doing ever since January 11. So that in itself is proof of concept. And, you know, from March last year to now, I don't think there has been anyone that has been sharing their plans and their vision as much as me for a particular reason. You can't fake it. You know, anyone can sit down for half an hour and tell you what you want to hear, but you can't do that for 60 hours straight. And if you go on my Facebook, you have over 60 hours of content to where if you're trying to find a hole in my story, you can go and try it, but you won't, you know, and you can't.
The message is consistent.
The message has been consistent, and, you know, it comes down to, you've heard me speak on August 19th, put me to work. And if you can, one thing I always said, every vote counts. And, you know, if I could have been elected off of well wishes, I think I'd have been in the running for the top vote getter last time. You know, but well wishes does not get you elected, and the last election proved that every vote counts. I missed out on the fourth seat by 40 votes. The party missed out on the fifth seat, which would have been me, by 60-something votes or 50-something votes. So every vote counts. And if I had to count the amount of people that came up to me after last election, by that, if I only had no, I would have chosen you. It was more than 40 people, which means I would have been elected. So again, if you believe in anything I've been saying, if you stand behind what I've been saying, me the person, Daryl York the person, back it, support it, and on August 19th, take a dive and vote for number 5.
Take a dive! I like it. Late Night Show, we'll be right back.
That is it for the Late Night Show. Thank you so much for watching. On Monday, people, we will be live, bringing you the latest election watch. We're going to have our own. Late Night going to have our own. They have many out there. But if you know Late Night, you know it's going to be a party. And informative, but also a party. We're going to get the numbers for you as soon as they come in. We're going to announce it. We have a panel that we will be discussing, you know, politics, how the season went. So have no fear. The dick is here. Late Night Show with Andrew Dick.